Something massive just happened for crypto. A $9 trillion buyer base just got the green light to enter the market. And history shows us that when liquidity of this size gets an on-ramp into the market, first we see Bitcoin run, then Ethereum, then after that we see an explosive move up in the altcoins. But this time, the timing, the structure, and the size of the flows could make it one of the most powerful rotations into the alts that we've ever seen. In this video, I'll show you exactly how this $9 trillion unlock works, the key dates that matter, and the 3 moves that I'm making to stay ahead of the crowd, one of which almost nobody is talking about today. On August 7th, Trump signed an executive order allowing crypto to go into 401ks. Now, at first, this might not seem like much, but it actually has huge implications for alt season, for altcoins, and for the entire crypto space as a whole. Basically, in a nutshell, this executive order opens the $9 trillion 401k market to crypto. This means that starting next year, some percentage of the 401k market is now going to start investing into crypto. And obviously at the start, most likely it's just going to be Bitcoin and maybe a little bit of ETH that these 401ks are investing into. But that's going to be a brand new source of liquidity for the crypto space and a brand new persistent bid for the crypto markets, putting even more buying pressure on Bitcoin and ETH. And to just do some quick math, per year, it's around $300 to $400 billion in new contributions that go into 401k plans. Meaning even a small percentage of this going into the crypto markets is a meaningful bid on crypto asset prices and should push the markets higher. Again, as I've highlighted many times, the crypto market as a whole is actually really, really tiny in the grand scheme of things. It's sitting around $4 trillion, where I just pointed out the 401k market just alone by itself is around $9 trillion. We have companies like Apple and Nvidia that are actually larger as a single company than the entire market cap of crypto. So when new sources of liquidity from the TradFi markets come online, like the 401k market, this has a very meaningful impact, not only because of the liquidity and the buying pressure that comes on the market, but also even more so because of the second and third order effects that this executive order carries with it. First off, you have big record keepers and asset managers who have to start designing qualified wrappers for these future 401k products. Second, of course, you get yet another sentiment boost for the crypto space in terms of legitimacy and in terms of how TradFi and retail perceive crypto. I mean, you have to remember that literally 2 years ago, every crypto company and their mom was getting sued by the SEC. The government was hostile and outright attacking crypto. Experts and celebrities were going on CNBC talking about how crypto is for terrorists and drug dealers and it has no real use case. If you remember, there was that guy at the college who gave his graduation speech who got booed by the entire stadium for bringing up Bitcoin. Crypto was not at all seen as a legitimate asset to hold in your portfolio. It was seen as like a poisonous, horrible thing that why would anyone touch that? Fast forward to today, and we've seen a complete reversal of all of that. The government is fully supportive of crypto, and the SEC chair is giving speeches about how we need to bring the US financial markets on chain, which is absolutely crazy. Not to mention, Trump talks about crypto in his press conferences like every other day. He made David Sachs the crypto/AI czar. And on all these podcasts, every time they're talking about brand new emerging technology, they're talking about AI, robotics, and crypto. These legitimization effects from the ETFs and all of these other things have had a massive impact on sentiment, and this 401k order further amplifies that effect. It causes a brand new wave of all this new media and speculation and excitement around the crypto markets. And it's just another thing thawing out retail, getting them to be reinterested in the crypto markets and start investing again. Because as we know, up until this point, retail hasn't really been investing in the crypto markets. The entire market up until this point has been basically driven by structural bid from institutions and Wall Street. Retail up to this point has completely sat on the sidelines. And for some people, this has been a huge cause for concern. Retail not showing up means, what is the likelihood we're going to get an alt season this time? It seems pretty low. So a lot of people are kind of giving up on alt season, given that we haven't seen a lot of retail participation and we haven't seen alts doing very well because of that. But if you've been following me for any amount of time now, you know that I believe we're about to have crypto's first ever 5-year cycle, and that I believe this is going to be fundamentally driven by the liquidity effects that are coming into play in 2026, not 2025 this time. Some of you guys think this is absolutely crazy because up until this point, it's always been the 4-year cycle. And what I'm saying is completely counterintuitive to what people expect respect to the pattern that's been established so far. But as I've highlighted before, retail participation is primarily driven by the business cycle and the credit cycle, and a huge burst in year-over-year liquidity momentum, which all those things we have not seen any traction on up until this point this cycle. Because of the policy decisions that were made during the COVID era, during all that craziness that happened, it fundamentally changed the pattern that had been established up until that point and started a brand new pattern that we're playing out right now. And this 401k order actually further reinforces my thesis on a 5-year cycle. And that's because all of the actual flows that are going to come from this 401k order will start next year in 2026. This is on top of all of the other ETF, basket ETF, and everything else in between that is being launched by Wall Street coming live also in 2026. I'll also add that each one of these successive new things adopting crypto allows other random things to adopt crypto. Like when we get it in 401ks, that other countries are going to be like, okay, maybe we should loosen our crypto restrictions. Maybe we should start allowing crypto to be adopted by our financial markets. Maybe we should add it into our 401ks, etc. It also gives permission to all these regulators, etc. All these suits up in Wall Street to launch more crypto-focused products. If it's going to be in 401ks, it's okay if we offer this, crypto yield product, or it's okay if we offer this other crypto product. And in terms of all these big, huge legacy funds that have trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that they're allocating, it gives them further permission to allocate a percentage of those funds into crypto. If it's in 401ks now and we have all these ETFs and we're seeing all this mass adoption of crypto, maybe they should be allocating 1% to 3% of those trillions and trillions of dollars into the crypto space, because this is quickly becoming a very legitimate asset that a lot of people are adopting and they don't want to get left behind. In terms of percentage odds when it comes to my alt season model, because of the sentiment boost that comes from the 401k adoption narrative, the ignition timing odds when it comes to alt season starting did kick up a few percentage points for like the October through December range. Right now, that is the most likely time period when I expect alt season to kick off. At some point late October is when I expect alt season to start. And these odds have further improved because of this 401k executive order. On top of that, because of the late stage fuel that this 401k bid could potentially offer in the later half of 2026, this also further increases the odds of a 2-stage pattern for alt season. As I've talked about in the past, the way it would basically work is alt season kicks off at some point in October through December. Then it kind of carries over into early 2026, where at some point in there, we have a pause. Maybe it's summer 2026, maybe it's like spring 2026, before we have a second run up in alt season and a blow off top late 2026. This is really similar to the way the 2021 cycle played out. And currently that pattern's sitting at around 59% odds of playing out, given the abundant amount of liquidity that's coming into play in 2026, on top of the regulatory clarity, on top of the altcoin ETFs, on top of every other thing that I've talked about coming into the market that really its heavy effects hit in 2026. Okay, the 3 ways that I'm planning on playing this coming all season. The first one I talk about all the time, and that's my 10,000 to 1 million portfolio. I did an entire video on this if you want to check it out, where I go into each token, why I'm holding it, how much I put in it. I basically took $10,000 and allocated to these 7 different tokens with the goal of turning that $10,000 into 1 million over this coming alt season. All of these tokens are extremely high risk, extremely tiny tokens that I think could do well given an alt season. The first token being the Una token. Again, it's a team that's leaned heavily into AI. They've just been consistently crushing it on every front. They have their AI agent Hannah in this entire platform where you could generate photos, videos, etc. Really cool, really underrated. If you want the full explanation, make sure to check out that video. The second token is Avo. It uses AI agents to go and buy tokens for you. Think of like indexes of right now they have the coin market cap trending tokens index, where basically if you give the agent $1,000, it's going to go buy you those coin market cap trending tokens without you having to do anything. And this updates and shifts as these trending tokens shift. On top of that, they have a range of other different types of agents. Some track wallets, some track KOLs, with big plans to expand to different indexes, more chains, and a range of other things. This is currently sitting at like $3 million in market cap. It is insanely, insanely tiny. To illustrate how insanely small this is today, if Avo were to hit the market cap of XRP, an investment of $1,000 would grow to $57 million. That means if Avo were to grow to the size of XRP, $1,000 invested in Avo would be worth $57 million. That is how insanely tiny Avo is today. And I think given the narrative of AI agents and everything they're building, I don't know how high they should be. I don't think they're going to reach the market cap of XRP. But I do think they'll be a lot higher given an alt season than they are today. The third token is Winner. This is an on-chain gambling platform that allows other organizations, developers to build their own front ends on Winner's infrastructure. They're doing a lot with AI as well. They have their Winner Bet AI that allows people to bet on just like a range of different topics that they're deploying, as well as just a ton more. This is one of the hardest working teams, in my opinion, in the crypto space. And I believe that the more time that you give them to build, the more bullish I'm going to get for Winner, because they just keep building and adding and pushing forward. And I think given an alt season, they could do really, really well. You have Geode. They make around $4 million in annual revenue. That goes towards buying back their token. As they say with their tagline, powering the future of robotics, one of the few kind of robotics plays you can make in crypto. It is a legit project too. It's all outside of crypto. All the revenue comes from outside of the crypto space. None of it's internal to the crypto space. People outside the crypto space pay them for their GPS coordination capabilities. It's really, really cool. SoulForge Fusion is a crypto card game. It's also a really tiny project. But the really bullish part is it's from the creator of Magic the Gathering, which again, given an alt season and all the hype that is generated during alt season around narratives, I think there's a really powerful narrative that could drive this token quite a bit higher. RSC, or Research Coin, just recently got listed on Coinbase. For those of you guys who don't know how to trade on chain, it is live on Coinbase. All I really need to say about this one is Brian Armstrong is the co-founder, the billionaire CEO of Coinbase, co-founded this token. That's really all I need to say. I recently went to my hometown county fair. A lot of people I talked to, all of them held XRP. That literally the number one question was like, what do you think about XRP? I had explained to them it's like the third largest token. They all thought it was like a really tiny token. They're like, what should I buy instead? And every single one of them, I told them to check out RSC. And all I had to tell them was, Brian Armstrong is the co-founder. He's the guy that made Coinbase. He's a billionaire. And that was it. And they all wanted to buy it as soon as I told them that. Okay. It has an insanely stupid, easy narrative. And during an alt season, that is what makes things go viral. And that is why I'm insanely bullish on this token. And finally, of that portfolio, there is Virus. Virus is from Pandemic Labs. They launched the game Infected. It did insanely well, hundreds of thousands of players. Their second game, Addicted, it already has 200,000 players. Insider, I'm not sure at the current stats, but they're just really good at drumming up attention, building these hyper viral games. And I just got to believe that their Virus token sitting at like, I don't know, 2 million market cap. I don't know. It's like insanely low, 3 million, 2 million market cap, that they're going to find a way to pump that thing to the moon because they're just really good at getting attention. And so my entire narrative is on this one is they're really good at getting attention. They get a lot of players to sign up for their games. They're going to find a way to get profits from those players, probably going to do buybacks at some point. And this token's so small today, it's likely to do really well in the future. Okay, so that's the first way that I'm playing this all season. The second way is going to really upset some of you guys as soon as I say it, because some of you guys are just so freaking brainwashed by the sheep of the market who tell you what to think and what's cool, etc., that you don't know how to think for yourself and think outside of the box. But let me tell you, the only way you make money in crypto is by thinking outside of the box and being greedy when everyone else is fearful, okay? Which most of you guys don't want to do. I know your brain doesn't want you to do it, okay? But you need to kind of just take a moment to pause and think a little bit about what could be, not what is today. The second way that I'm planning on playing alt season is via NFTs, which currently are an extremely hated asset in the crypto space. Everyone feels like they're dead. Everyone feels like NFTs are over. But if you actually look at what's currently going on, like currently we still have CryptoPunks selling for over $2 million. Okay, this happened just last week. This Bored Ape sold for $2.3 million. This was last week too. It sold for $1.9 million. If NFTs are dead, why are these classic collections still selling for millions of dollars? The answer is that NFTs aren't dead. People have been collecting art since the dawn of time, okay? Like rich people who have way too much money, love to flex, and they love to collect art. NFTs are really no different. The only difference is like people just haven't been rich since 2021. Most of the participants in the crypto market have not had the money to go buy NFTs. This is a flex. This is a luxury item. It's like going and buying a Lambo or a Rolex or something you don't need and you're purely buying it to flex. Most people don't do that when they're like dirt poor. Typically, it's something that happens when the markets are frothy. That's when Lambo sales go through the roof. That's when people are buying all those Rolexes. That's when people are buying NFTs. And NFTs are a great flex. You turn it to your profile picture, you list it on your bio, whatever. That gets seen by more people than like if you owned a Lamborghini. Like when you own a Lamborghini, you might drive around town and like some people might see you. But having it as a profile picture and all this kind of other stuff, that's a flex. It builds builds social credibility. All these people see, wow, this guy must be a baller. You get the idea. It's a digital flex. And these things have had years to go to zero. And despite that, they haven't. They've retained a lot of their value and they're still selling for millions of dollars. And that tells me when the liquidity, when the frothiness comes back to the market, there's a really good chance we're going to see a reignition of the NFT space. And the market is not anticipating this at all. And so it is just a great time to position for that early if you really believe we're going to get an alt season. If you don't believe we're going to get an alt season, then it's probably a stupid thing to do. And as you guys know, I'm a big believer in Una, and I'm also a big believer in their NFT collection, Persona. And this is currently the NFT collection that I'm accumulating. I know most of you guys are just not going to do this. Just flat out, you're going to completely ignore this. But I still think it's worth sharing because this has been one of the stupid, easiest plays of all time. Everyone ignored me, didn't listen to me, but I have made so much money from these NFTs just by staking them because you earn Una tokens by staking your NFTs. In fact, so far to date, in one of my wallets, I've made around $11,000 from staking my Persona NFTs. And in my other wallet, I've made around $13,000 by staking my Persona NFTs. That's around $24,000 total I've made just by holding these things and staking them. Granted, I am one of the single largest holders of Persona NFTs. I've bought in a little bit over 151 Persona NFTs in anticipation for what I believe is coming alt season and a revival of the NFT markets, especially considering I think the Una token is likely to go a lot higher as well. So, come alt season, if Una token does a 10x or 50x or 100x, that means all the Una that I've made so far in staking my Persona is going to go up 10x, 50x, 100x, etc. So for me, I've bet really, really big on this ecosystem. We'll see how it plays out, but this is the second way that I'm playing the coming alt season boom that I expect to be coming down the line. The final way I'm playing alt season is I'm not just like heavy in these like super high risk altcoins. I also hold a lot of medium to larger cap tokens to kind of balance out my portfolio because it's kind of dumb to put your entire portfolio into just like super low cap tokens. The goal is with low cap tokens to put a small slice of your portfolio in those things. I probably put way too much. I don't just have the 1,000 I have in my 10,000 to 1 million portfolio. Outside of that, I also have a lot more invested in those same tokens. But the goal is a small slice in those kind of like moonshot, smaller tokens. And then you balance out your portfolio with like medium to larger bets. Currently for me, that's tokens like Akash, that's tokens like Polygon, which I've gotten endless amounts of hate on Polygon because it has been one of the worst performing tokens up to this point. But again, as I've said way too many times, I believe Polygon will do well given an alt season. If it doesn't do well given alt season, then you can rub it in my face for all time. But alt season is not here yet. And I believe Polygon is going to really catch its stride given an alt season. That's tokens like Ethereum. That's tokens like Cow. Cow sounds like a stupid token. I promise it's not a stupid token. It's like the single best DEX in the entire crypto space. They're a competitor with something like Uniswap. I hold tokens like Across, which is like another infrastructure type play in the crypto space. If you've ever bridged back in 2021, it's like a 20-minute horrible experience. Across uses intense-based bridges. Basically means you get sometimes a sub 1 second bridging process. You click bridge and it's just like, boom, it's done. And this is because this cool thing in the crypto space called Intense, which is also what CowSwap uses for its experience. And I even hold tokens like Eigenlayer. Super, super unpopular right now. Nobody's really paying attention to Eigenlayer. They were really hyped back in 2023. They've lost all of that hype. So is most of DeFi. So is most of like the lower tranches of the crypto space. Everyone's paying attention to Bitcoin. Everyone's paying attention to ETH and just like those top 10 assets. But this is how alt seasons always start. It always starts with Bitcoin, rotates down to ETH. People are paying attention to those top assets, and then it rotates its way down the stack. And given an alt season, I think all these things are going to do really, really well. If you're interested in checking out any of these tokens, I've included links on how to go buy these things in the description of this video. If you're interested in seeing weekly video market updates on macro, the markets, everything in between, as well as my entire portfolio and every time I buy or sell, I share all those things in the Obsidian Council. Currently, the Obsidian Council is closed to new members, but if you're interested in joining the waitlist, there's a link in the description below. As always, none of this is investment advice. I'm clearly not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own investment decisions, and you should always do your own research. If this video is helpful, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell next to it to be notified each time I release a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.